Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets. Today we're diving deep into the future of tech, from the curious case of slumping smartwatch sales to the rise of eerily lifelike robots and the ever-expanding world of AI. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah.
What really jumps out at you from all this? Where do you see the most potential for things to shake up over the next year?
You know, it's funny you mentioned the smartwatches on the surface. It looks like they're hitting a bit of a wall, but the underlying story there is fascinating. The recent dip in sales is definitely real, but it's not necessarily a sign that people are losing interest in wearable tech. It's more like a pause for breath, a chance for the tech to catch up with the hype.
Okay, I'm intrigued what makes you say that. I mean, the news is all doom and gloom, talk about lack of innovation, patent battle, full 9 yards.
Right. But look closer. The 2024 sales drop is largely tied to Apple holding back on major updates. There was no new Ultra or SE model, and the Apple Watch 10 was basically a minor refresh. Then you had those legal issues messing with shipments. But here's the thing. Projections show a likely comeback in 2025 with new models and huge growth in Asia.
So it's not that people don't want smartwatches. It's that they're waiting for something that truly wows them.
Right.
That makes sense?
Exactly. This temporary slowdown could actually be a good thing. It gives companies a chance to rethink their approach to really focus on features that people will actually use and love. Plus, remember that patent battle? It involves some pretty innovative health sensors. Once those legal hurdles are cleared, we could see a whole wave of smarter, healthier wearables hit the market.
That's a really good point. It's easy to get caught up in the headlines and miss the bigger picture. So what you're saying is don't write off smartwatches just yet. They might just surprise us.
Absolutely. The potential is still huge, especially as the technology matures and becomes more integrated into our lives. It's not just about telling time anymore. It's about health tracking communication, even potentially augmenting our reality in ways we haven't even imagined yet.
Now that you mention augmenting reality, it makes me think about all this buzz around robots becoming more lifelike. I was reading about this protoclone robot, the one with 1,000 artificial muscles. It looks crazy realistic. That has to be a game changer, right?
Oh, it absolutely is. The protoclone is a prime example of what we call biomimetic robotics, where engineers are basically taking inspiration from nature to build machines that move and function more like living organisms.
I have to admit, I'm a little creeped out by how realistic these robots are becoming. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
I get it. It can definitely be unsettling. But remember, technology itself is neutral. It's all about how we choose to use it. Think about the potential benefits here. Imagine these robots working alongside humans in dangerous environments, performing delicate surgeries, or even assisting the elderly.
Okay, yeah, when you put it that way, it doesn't seem so scary. So it's not necessarily about robots replacing humans, but more about them enhancing our capabilities and helping us in new ways.
Exactly. And it's not just about physical tasks either. The advances in AI that are driving these robots are also being applied in all sorts of other areas, from personalized medicine to environmental monitoring.
Speaking of AI, you can't ignore what's happened with Google and OpenAI. It seems like every week there's a new headline about AI breakthroughs.
It's definitely a hotbed of innovation right now. And while the tech itself is fascinating, I'm most interested in the ripple effects, how these advancements will shape industries and even our daily lives.
Like how Google invested a ton of money in Anthropic, that AI startup. That was a pretty big deal.
It was. But what's interesting is that despite that investment, Google doesn't have much control over Anthropic. No voting rights, no board seats, nothing like that.
Ah, that is interesting. So they basically just threw a bunch of money at the problem and hoped for the best.
Not quite. It's more strategic than that. Google is clearly betting on AI being the next big thing, but they're also hedging their bets by investing in multiple companies and approaches. They're trying to stay ahead of the curve without putting all their eggs in one basket.
Makes sense. And what about OpenAI? I've been hearing a lot about their agent development platform.
Ah, yes. That's where things get really interesting. OpenAI isn't just focused on building impressive AI chatbots. They're developing a platform that will let developers create AI agents that can perform complex tasks, almost like having your own personal digital assistant powered by artificial intelligence.
Whoa, wait a minute. Are you saying AI could be doing our chores for us soon? Because I'm totally on board with that.
Well, maybe not your laundry just yet, but the potential is there. Think about it. AI agents could be handling our schedules, booking appointments, even managing our finances. We're already seeing companies like Stripe implementing AI helpers for things like invoicing and customer support.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But wouldn't that put a lot of people out of work? I mean, if AI could do all that stuff, What happens to the people who used to do those jobs?
That's a valid concern, and it's a debate that's going to heat up as AI becomes more sophisticated. But it's also important to remember that throughout history, new technologies have always disrupted the job market. The key is to adapt and learn new skills that complement the evolving needs of the workforce.
So it's not necessarily about AI taking our jobs, but rather about us learning to work alongside AI and leverage its capabilities to our advantage.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe AI will even create new job categories that we haven't even thought of yet. This is all uncharted territory, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
This whole AI thing is mind-blowing. It's like we're on the cusp of something truly revolutionary.
I agree. And it's not just AI. We're seeing incredible advancements in areas like biotechnology, renewable energy, and space exploration. The next few years are going to be an incredibly exciting time to be alive.
All this talk about the future makes me think about the metaverse. Remember that photo from astronaut Don Pettit, the one with all the star trails and city lights? What if we could all experience that kind of immersive view, even if we never leave Earth?
It's a captivating thought, isn't it? And while space travel might not be readily available to everyone just yet, technologies like the Las Vegas sphere are bringing us closer to those kinds of immersive experiences.
The sphere is amazing. I've seen pictures, and it's like this giant futuristic globe with incredible visual displays. It's like stepping into another world.
Exactly. And the company behind the Sphere Entertainment is apparently considering building smaller versions, mini spheres, with a capacity of around 5,000 people. It seems they're trying to make this immersive technology more accessible.
That's really interesting. So you're saying that even if we can't all go to space, we might soon be able to experience something pretty close to it right here on Earth.
It's definitely a possibility. And this move towards immersive entertainment aligns with what Niantic, the company behind Pokemon Go, is doing. They recently sold their gaming division to focus on building 3D maps of the real world, essentially laying the groundwork for more immersive experiences.
So will we all be buying tickets to the metaverse soon? What do you think?
It's hard to say for sure. The metaverse is still evolving, but these developments certainly point to a future where the lines between the physical and digital worlds become increasingly blurred.
It really is incredible how quickly things are changing. It makes you wonder what the world will look like in 5 years, 10 years, even further down the line.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? The future is full of possibilities. And while we can't predict exactly what will happen, we can look at the trends and extrapolate, try to connect the dots and get a sense of where things might be headed.
Like with the metaverse, it's still early days, but all signs point to it becoming a major force in our lives. I mean, think about how much time we already spend online. It's only natural that we'd want to find more immersive and engaging ways to interact with the digital world.
I completely agree. The metaverse has the potential to revolutionize everything from entertainment and education to social interaction and even work. It's not just about escaping reality, it's about creating new realities, new possibilities.
And with companies like Niantic focusing on building these detailed 3D maps of the real world, it feels like the lines between the physical and digital are starting to blur even more. It's almost like the real world is becoming a platform for the metaverse.
That's a really interesting way to put it, and it makes you wonder, what does that mean for the future of physical spaces? Will we see a decline in the need for traditional brick-and-mortar stores, offices, and even homes as more of our lives move online?
It's hard to say for sure, but it's definitely something to think about. Maybe we'll see a shift towards hybrid spaces that blend the physical and digital in new and innovative ways. Like imagine a store where you can browse physical goods, but also access virtual showrooms and interact with AI-powered assistants.
Or think about education. Imagine a classroom where students can visit ancient Rome in virtual reality or dissect a virtual frog without having to harm a real one. The possibilities are endless.
This is blowing my mind. It feels like we're on the verge of something truly transformative. But with all this change comes a lot of questions too, like how do we ensure that everyone benefits from these advancements? How do we address the ethical implications of AI and robotics? How do we prevent the metaverse from becoming a dystopian nightmare?
Those are all crucial questions, and they're ones that we need to be thinking about and discussing openly and honestly. Technology is a powerful tool, but it's up to us to use it wisely and responsibly. We need to make sure that these advancements serve humanity, not the other way around.
I couldn't agree more. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of all the shiny new gadgets and forget about the bigger picture.
Right.
But at the end of the day, technology should be about making our lives better, not just more complicated.
Well said. It's all about finding that balance That sweet spot where we can harness the power of technology while still preserving our values, our humanity.
And that's what makes these conversations so important.
Yeah.
We need to be having these discussions, asking these tough questions, and working together to shape a future that benefits everyone.
Absolutely. The future is not something that just happens to us, it's something we create. And the more informed and engaged we are, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
So let's keep talking.
Mm.
Keep exploring and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Who knows what amazing discoveries and innovations await us just around the corner.
I can't wait to find out. And I'm sure our listeners are just as curious as we are. So keep those questions coming, and let's continue this conversation together.
Okay, before we get too carried away with the future, let's bring it back to the present for a moment. Remember those smartwatches we were talking about earlier? The ones that are supposedly in a bit of a slump.
Ah, yes, the underdog of the tech world. But as we discussed, don't count them out just yet. They might just have a few tricks up their sleeves.
Speaking of tricks, there's this one story that caught my eye. It's about a developer who got into a bit of trouble for using a kill switch in his code after he left his job.
Oh, yes, I remember that one. It raises some interesting questions about ownership and control in the digital age.
Right, like who really owns the code?
Mm.
The developer who created it? The company that hired him? Or the users who rely on the software? It's a bit of a legal and ethical gray area.
It is, and it gets even more complicated when you start talking about AI. I mean, if an AI creates a piece of code, who owns the copyright? The AI itself, the developers who created the AI, or the company that owns the AI? These are questions we're going to have to grapple with as AI becomes more sophisticated.
It's like a whole new world of legal and ethical challenges is opening up. It's almost like we need a new set of laws and regulations specifically for the digital age.
I think you're right. We're still operating under frameworks that were designed for a pre-digital world. We need to update our thinking to keep pace with the rapid advancements in technology.
It's a lot to take in, but it's also incredibly fascinating. It feels like we're standing at a crossroads, and the choices we make now will have a profound impact on the future.
I couldn't agree more. We have a responsibility to use these powerful tools wisely and ethically. The future is in our hands.
It's a heavy thought, but also an inspiring one. We have the power to shape the future, to create a world that is better, more just, and more equitable. It's a challenge, but also an incredible opportunity.
Exactly. Let's embrace the challenge. Let's explore the possibilities, and let's create a future that we can all be proud of.
I'm with you on that. Now, speaking of exploring possibilities, there's one more topic I want to touch on before we wrap things up. OpenAI and their agent development platform.
Ah, yes. That's where things get really interesting.
What's fascinating here is that OpenAI is pushing for AI to do more than just chat. They're building a platform that allows developers to create AI agents that can perform tasks almost like having your own personal assistant powered by AI.
It's a game changer, really. Imagine AI handling your travel arrangements, managing your investments, or even helping you learn a new language. It's like having a superpowered sidekick who's always on call.
AI could be doing my taxes soon. Sign me up.
Well, maybe not your taxes just yet, but the potential is definitely there. Take Stripe, for example. They've already implemented AI helpers that handle invoicing, manage customer billing, and even provide email support for payment requests.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. But what are the limitations? I mean, AI isn't perfect, right?
You're right. There are still challenges. Current AI agents can struggle with complex tasks that require a deep understanding of context, common sense reasoning, and the ability to learn and adapt to new situations.
So there's still a human element needed, at least for now. It sounds like we're still in the early stages of this whole AI agent thing, but it's definitely exciting to think about what the future holds.
Absolutely. And speaking of the future, let's shift gears and talk about something else that's capturing everyone's imagination, the metaverse. Remember that awesome photo from the astronaut Don Pettit, the one with the star trails and city lights? What if we could all experience that kind of immersive view?
It's a captivating thought, right? And while space travel might not be readily available to everyone, technologies like the Las Vegas Sphere are bringing us closer to those kinds of immersive experiences.
The Sphere is a marvel of engineering, a giant futuristic globe with breathtaking visual displays. It's like stepping into another world. And they're already talking about building smaller, more accessible versions. Imagine these mini spheres popping up in cities around the world, offering a taste of the metaverse to the masses.
That's really interesting. It sounds like they're trying to make this immersive technology more mainstream. Do you think this is the beginning of a major shift towards virtual entertainment?
It's definitely a possibility. And this move towards immersive entertainment aligns with what Niantic, the company behind Pokémon Go, is doing. They recently sold their gaming division to focus on building 3D maps of the real world, essentially laying the groundwork for more immersive experiences. They're betting big on the metaverse.
So will we all be buying tickets to the metaverse soon? What do you think?
It's hard to say for sure. The metaverse is still evolving, but these developments certainly point to a future where the lines between the physical and digital worlds become increasingly blurred.
It's mind-blowing to think about, isn't it? We've come so far from those clunky VR headsets of the past.
We have indeed. Technology is advancing at an incredible pace. And it's not just about the technology itself, it's about what we do with it. We have the power to shape the future, to create a world where technology enhances our lives, connects us in meaningful ways, and helps us solve some of the world's biggest challenges.
Well said. So what's the key takeaway for our listeners today? What should they be thinking about as they navigate this rapidly evolving tech landscape?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and explore new possibilities. The future is what we make it.
Beautifully put. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this episode of Byte-Sized Tech.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you all.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.